everyone. So today I learned something and I just wanted to share it with you. Today we went to the Deli Llama, which is in Tavares, and it's a deli / coffee shop. And it is really good. The customer service is outstandingly amazing, and the atmosphere is really nice. I guess you would describe it hippie. I don't know, but it's really comfortable, cozy, lots of seating, nice place to hang out, and they have extremely good coffee. They make it really good. They care that they make it right for you, and they ask you, how is it? Would you like me to make it with more foam less time or less foam next time? And they'll come ask you how your food is. And he explained the first time we went in there, I've only been there 2 times, today was my 2nd time, and the first time when we went in there, he explained where their coffee came from. It's called something goat, Lucky Goat, but it tastes really good. And he was explaining how it's good quality coffee, and just the fact that everything in there is so quality, like their menu is nice and decorated. Their sandwiches are really good. I had one called the Godfather sandwich, which is a cold sandwich, and it has like onions, red pepper, cheddar, or cheese spread, and then it has like olive, prosciutto, and like salami and turkey, and it's really good. And then I had another one today, an Italian. It's a hot press sandwich, and it was really good. It was my favorite of the 2, even though both of them were really good. And so they're just so quality. Everything about them is quality. The customer service, the food, the coffee, the atmosphere, and the love there, how much they care that you like what you got, and it makes you want to go back. And so I was just getting so inspired there, thinking about how if one day I start a coffee shop, I learned so much from them. And there's been so many times I go to coffee shops and they're so like cold, or like cold like attitude wise, or they're cold in such a way where they're nice to you, but you know if you ask for too much, they're gonna get upset, and there's a limit to how nice they're gonna be and how long, and it's all surfacey. But this place, the Deli Llama, was not surfacey. It's like they really do care, and they really do want to make sure you love your drink, and they are excited that you come back, and they remember your name. And so many coffee shops I've been to, certainly they don't remember your name. They don't care that they make your drink right. They just want to get you out of there. They don't know how to make drinks. They don't, and the reason why their atmosphere isn't good is because they're cold towards you, and they don't make you feel welcome. One time I went into a coffee shop, and it had a sign that said something like, please limit your seating, like as long as you're sitting in this chair, to 1 hour, so others can have a turn, or something like that. Part of a coffee shop to me is going in and it being like I guess you'd call it a second home, or a third place, something like that, where it's like your second home, like another place out of home that is like a home, but it's like a second home where you can stay there for a long time. And if you're telling people that they have to, like pressuring them to be there only for an hour, then they're probably not going to come back. At least I wouldn't come back. But this Deli Llama place, the first time I went there, they were so welcoming. Their coffee was so good. They cared that they made it right, and it was really good, and the food was good, and the atmosphere is good, and just the people are so nice. And so it made me want to go back. Like I wanted to go back so bad, and like I didn't want to leave. And so just thank you so much to that restaurant, restaurant, coffee shop, deli coffee shop. They're so good. And so all this to say, it just teaches me so much about what people should be. Like nowadays, people are so obsessed with their phones and their computers and their laptops, or I guess computers and laptops are the same thing. iPads, TV, all these electronic devices, their earbuds, close them off from the world. And not to say anything's wrong with earbuds, but it just all depends on how you use it. And just people are so obsessed with their phones nowadays, and it's an easy way to get rid of awkwardness and not have to look people in the eye and smile at them and ask them questions. And phones are like an escape so that you don't have to go through a little bit of awkwardness to make friends. And sometimes, like at the Deli Llama, it was not at all awkward to me, But sometimes there are those situations where it feels a little bit awkward. Not at the Dalai Lama, but there are situations where it feels a little bit awkward and people just go to their phone. The second it feels uncomfortable, they just go to their phone. And then it's like a fake world on your phone, and you're like being cut off from reality, and you're being cut off from relationships. And then like you don't even have a community because your community is on your phone. And because your community is on your phone, you don't need to have a community. That's one huge downfall of social media to me, is that because there's a place where you can talk to people, you can message them on a phone and see what's going on in their life and post what's going on in your life. Because you can do that on social media, it gets rid of the necessity of seeing people in person, and it gets rid of the necessity of having a community. And so if I have a coffee shop, and I do feel like someday I do want to have a coffee shop, if I do, I would want it to be a place where I build a community. And even like, well, how are you going to advertise for your coffee shop or your business if you don't have social media? Even with that, like in the old days, they didn't have social media, but they still had businesses. How did they get their business to run? Well, with my common sense, I would assume that they had a community and a person. It's almost like if you just have one person walk into your business because they saw it on the road because they were living real life. If you just have one person come into your business and you treat them kindly and you give them good service, make sure they like it, just being nice. And of course having quality food and drinks, that's so important, but just being nice and loving and being not a surfacey, but a deep, really, truly caring, a real person, and making a little bit of effort, which feels like a lot of effort to make the customer feel at home and feel loved, goes such a long way that I can't imagine that person wouldn't leave and go tell their friends or their family, or even like people they just meet on the street about this nice business that has good food, and then those people tell their friends, and then those people tell their friends, and then they come back, and then you have reoccurring customers, and then they're telling other people all the time. And I feel like that's how a business could grow. But the reason why people need social media to advertise for the businesses, I feel like, is because there's not really a community anymore, and community is how you would advertise. And I obviously don't have a business or anything, but that's just what I see as a customer, and as somebody who may have a business one day, if that's where God leads me. It's to have a business, and I would treat it as a ministry opportunity. It's such a great ministry opportunity. Like, I understand why people who aren't Christians don't want to be a Christian and don't want to go to church. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus with all my heart. But I understand why people would look at Christians and say, I don't want to be a Christian. I want nothing to do with that. Because there's so many Christians that represent Jesus the wrong way. They're religious, or they're not living for God. They're all talk and no action. Or they're really extra weirdly spiritual, and it's like, oh, that's weird. I don't want to be a part of that. But the truth is, Jesus is nothing like that. And just because there's some people who or a lot of people who are not doing something right, it doesn't mean that there aren't people who are doing it right. Just because there's people who represent something wrongly doesn't mean that what they're representing is wrong. And if they're representing it wrongly, they're not representing it. But a true Christian to me is somebody who follows Jesus. That's the foundation. But that meaning follow Jesus is such a loaded statement. Following Jesus doesn't mean talking and speaking in words of faith and being saying you're grateful and smiling at people, and those are good things, but it's not just that. It's action. The Bible says faith without works is dead. So it's saying you love people, but carrying it out by giving them your blanket when they're cold, or making food for them, or being nice to them when you're not having a good day. So faith without works is dead. A follower of Jesus wants to do the right thing, wants justice, and knows that love is the most important thing. So anyways, that's pretty much, I guess, what you could say I learned today is there's so many people who are cold in the world and just seem so boring because they're lost or they haven't found Jesus. But it was just so nice to go to a place, Dalai Lama, that has people who really care, real people who really care and are really nice. And it's just encouraging. And I guess my reason also for doing this video is to encourage people to make eye contact, smile at people, put down their phones, make real relationships, build real relationships, love people, realize time is short, don't waste time, and do something. And to speak words of faith, but then do what you say you believe, and love people, and have a community by loving people. It really all comes back to love. I'll just put a picture of my mom and I at the end of this video, which is right now. So I love you, and I'll see you next time.